Hi, Steve Stine from Guitarzoom here. Thank you so much for joining me again, and welcome to my beginner guitar course video lesson series here on YouTube. Now, in this lesson, what we're going to be looking at is 4 other chords, other major chords that we need to learn. Now, before we learn those, let's talk about this term major. Now, the first chord that you've learned from me is what we call the A chord. Now, there are 2 different kinds of chords that we learn how to play, 2 different families of chords that we use quite frequently on the guitar. They're referred to as major chords, and the other family is referred to as minor chords. Now, major chords are just written A or C or G or E or D or whatever. That's all they are. And when we talk to each other, we don't really have to use the word major because we know it's major. So if I said, hey, play me an A chord, you'd play me this A chord right here. But you'd know that this chord is actually what we call major. Now, major chords tend to be a little bit happier, okay? That's how they sound. Now, there is another family of chords that we're going to get to in just a little bit, which are called minor chords. Now, minor chords are a little bit sadder sounding in nature. And with minor chords, they're always written with a little M behind them. And again, we're going to get to those. We're not there yet. But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about 4 other major chords that are very important. You already have A, so I'm going to give you these other ones. Now, I'm summarizing all 4 of these chords in one video, so I'm not taking up too much of your time. But please understand that that doesn't mean that these chords are done quickly. Okay, they all require just as much effort as you've put into your first chord, which is A. I just want to give you all of these so you have them. Okay, so the next chords we're going to learn how to play are C, D, E, and G. And that's what we're going to be talking about today are those 4 chords. They all need to be practiced, visualized, bounced, all those kind of things that we've talked about before. Okay, and you might find that certain ones of these chords you might use more than others, but all 5 of these chords, A, C, D, E, and G, are all incredibly important. Okay, so I just want to make you aware of that. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Now, we've already got our A chord, which we did in an earlier lesson. Let's take a look at the C chord. So with the C chord, what we're going to do is we're going to place the first finger on the 2nd string on the 1st fret. We're going to place the middle finger on the 4th string on the 2nd fret. We're going to place the ring finger on the 5th string on the 3rd fret. We do not want to play this 6th string if we can help it. We want to strum from the 5th string through. So the 1st string is open. The 2nd string we're pressing on the 1st fret. The 3rd string is open. The 4th string we're pressing on the 2nd fret, and the 5th string we're pressing on the 3rd fret. And that's your C chord. Now, C doesn't have a whole lot of options of different ways to play it. The hard part with the C chord, just like any chord that you're going to be learning coming up here, is that you just need to make sure that the guitar neck is up a little bit and that your elbow and your wrist is down a little bit so you've got some space here. Because if you try and approach the guitar from this angle when you play, like if you think about driving a car, you're playing from, or you're driving, holding onto the steering wheel like this, guitar playing doesn't work very well when you're in this position. The A chord was great because we really could kind of be in that steering wheel position. But with this C chord, it's really hard to try and make it with your elbow out here. But if you turn your elbow in this way, what it does is it raises these smaller fingers up in the air like this. So as strange as this looks, if you think about it, what I'm doing is I'm playing like this with this elbow in a little bit. Because if I approach it from this angle, these fingers have no hope. This one's got no hope of getting to the 5th string. But if I turn this way, it's going to give it more room to reach up there. So some chords you're going to learn are steering wheel style chords where they're fine in this position. Other chords need to be like this. So if you think about it, that's why the neck is up, maybe the leg is up a little bit, okay? Remember how I said I grasped the guitar like this to give me a little space in here? This is why I do that, is now I've got room to turn in a little bit, where if I was playing directly across my guitar, I'd just run into the side of my body there. But now I've got some room to turn in a little bit so I can make that chord correctly. So again, a lot of it has to do with the way you're approaching the chord that you want to play. Not just the fact that you're putting your fingers on there, but how are you approaching this to make it comfortable. So C is an entirely different beast than A was because you're coming from a completely different angle like this. Okay, so that's your C chord. C major, but we don't have to say major, it's just C. Okay, another chord I want you to take a look at would be the D chord. Now the D chord is more of a steering wheel style chord because we can approach it from this angle. Now the D chord, which is really important for us, first finger goes on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Middle finger goes on the 1st string, 2nd fret as well. And then your ring finger goes on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So it makes a bit of a triangle there. And this one we just strum the bottom 4. Okay, there you go. Then we've got ourselves a G chord, which is another really important chord for us to learn. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of playing the G to see what works best for you. One way is what we refer to as a 3-finger G, which is like this. And what happens is the 3rd finger goes on the 1st string, 3rd fret. The middle finger goes all the way up to the 6th string, 3rd fret. And then your 1st finger goes onto the 5th string, 2nd fret, and you leave all the center ones open, and you can strum everybody. And then the last of these chords, these major chords that we need to know, is the E chord. Another really important chord for us. So E uses the 1st finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret. The middle finger goes on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger goes on the 4th string, 2nd fret as well. So these two are kind of together, and then we have the 1st finger over here, and we can strum all 6. So those are 4 essential chords for us to learn how to play, 4 major chords that we should know, plus the A chord that we did earlier. I'm not telling you to rush through these, and I know it's just in one video, but I didn't want to make 5 different videos of all these different chords. I just want to show you how they go. These are all major chords, relatively happy in sound, okay? But they're all absolutely crucial to learn how to play. So if you apply your bouncing skills, the visualization, all those things that we've talked about before to these chords as we play, because very soon I'm going to start giving you some songs to learn that utilize multiple chords. So we've got to learn how to make each chord independently, okay? We've got to make this D chord, or this A chord, or this G chord, or this E chord, or whatever. Now, real quick before I go, I want to show you another way to play that G chord, because some people like to play it with the 3 fingers like I just showed you, but some people will play it with 4 fingers. So what happens if you want to play the G with 4 fingers is you take that 3rd finger, you move up 1 string to the 2nd string, and you put your pinky where that 3rd finger used to be. We call this a 4-finger G chord as a guitar player. It doesn't change the name of it at all. Whether you play it as 3 fingers, we'd call it a G major. Or if you played it as 4 fingers, we'd still call it G major, or G, right? So it doesn't change anything about it. It's just what works better for you when you practice, okay? So those are really important for us to learn. So take a look at those. And again, take your time. You don't need to be in any hurry to move on to the next video or anything like that. You can always skip around if you need to. Go to the playlist, which the link is in the description. And if you want to work on some more strumming things or things like that while you're developing these chords, I think that's wonderful. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you're notified when I come out with more videos. And like I said, just be patient. Practice on the days that you eat, right? Be patient and develop each element because they're all very, very, very important to learning how to play guitar. They just require some time. So even if learning, all of these chords, maybe you've got something you've played a little bit before, or you've got a song that you're trying to learn with a friend or a relative or something, and that song requires you to know D, and it doesn't require E, leave the E off the table for right now. Okay, and just work on what you need for whatever it is you're trying to do. And when you feel good, then start including that other chord that you don't really need at this point, right? And as we keep going, again, we'll talk more about strumming and, songs and things like that. But that gives you all the chords that you need. And finally, there's also a link in the description below for some free training from me, a free guitar course that you can check out as well. So click on that and get that if you think that's going to help you at all. So make sure you stay positive and keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.